This is the one and only 5D dating and relationships. And in this video, I wanted to talk to you all about something that's very key. You know what I mean? And it boils down to two things. You know, there's two ways that you can approach a person. You can approach them direct, or you can approach them indirect. All right. And they both have their pros and cons. So let's go through it real quickly. If you approach direct, the benefit is you get to move with speed. You get to get straight to the point. um, People appreciate your boldness, uh, so that can be attractive, right? Especially if you do it smooth. You know what I mean? If you can communicate smoothly and efficient. It also does a good job of preserving attraction because you move in quick. Hey, what's your name? Are you from the area? Well, I thought you were really attractive. Or I thought you had a cool style and vibe to you. Would definitely like if we can hang out, and grab a drink or, get some coffee, whatever. Oh, yeah, sure. Give you the number. Boom. Now you move quickly, you express interest. She knows what time it is. Use direct. And so now when you meet up with her, the attraction is high because you're not lingering around texting for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, like they say, there's a window to attraction, and it's generally about 3 days, to be quite frank, maybe 3 to 5 days. But I'd say 3 days. So between the time you get her number to 2 to 3 days, you should already have set up the date. And that's a part of that direct approach that I'm explaining. You get the number, you set up a meetup, and then once you meet up, it's all natural attraction, it's physical attraction, it's polarity. So from there, nature's going to take its course. Boom. Now, indirect, what's so dope about indirect? Let's talk about the pros. Well, all right, no, let's talk about the negatives of direct, though. So the negatives of direct is that a lot of time you push girls off. You know, there's no mystery. You know what I mean? So sorry about that. A lot of time you push girls away. There's no mystery. It can come off thirsty. You don't want to have thirsty energy. Um, you kind of putting all your cards on the table, so she has leverage. And that's something that makes it tough. And then finally, I would just say that a lot of the time you become dependent on the outcome. You're constantly chasing, and constantly going direct. It allows you to not be present in the moment. You're not really focused on any other moves you can make. You kind of become one dimensional because everything's so direct. You know what I mean? So you want to have a balance. Now, let's go to the indirect. The benefits of indirect is that you don't put all your cards on the table. It reserves mystery. Number two, it isn't abrasive. So you're not really, you can, and because of that, you can use it in a bunch of different environments. I think indirect is a little bit more flexible because, you can use it at work. You can use it in a professional environment. You can use it in a fun environment, and also it builds comfort and safety. When you're dealing with women, especially very beautiful women, um, the minute you put your cards on the table, a lot of the time it can kill the attraction because it's like, okay, he's just another guy that wants to get me. When you're able to show that restraint, be reserved, be laid back, it shows that you're not thirsty. And you give her an opportunity to choose on you. So you give girls the opportunity to choose on you when you go indirect. And also, it has transferable skills indirect. So if you can be indirect and talk to a woman and speak in a way where at first she doesn't even notice anything, and next thing you know, like she's feeling you, right? And that's indirect. Well, what happens at work when you're doing a deal? You know how to indirectly get people to gravitate to you without having to say, "Hey, buy my product. Can you buy this? I want you to buy it now." Instead, you know how to communicate, build some comfort and likability. And next thing you know, they're like asking you, "Oh, can I?" You know what I mean? So these skills are transferable. And last thing I'll say about indirect that's dope is it to me it's more strategic, and I noticed that it's the feminine energy. So women gravitate to that language. If you see any woman, women generally go indirect when it comes to men. Only time they go direct is they're feeling very bold. They might be drunk or something. Or they might be drinking, tipsy, stuff like that. But most women are masters at indirect. And even if they're attracted to the guy at first sight, they will wait months and months for the right moment to make a move. And that shows you, number one, how um, abundant minded a lot of women are because they're not pressed, and also goes to show you uh, that it is the language that they understand. That's why if you look at any romantic movie, if you read any romantic book, the way it's laid out, it's always designed to where a woman bumps into a guy somewhere, or they're walking and they meet randomly. It's always a random meetup. It's very rarely a guy just walking up and saying, I was at the mall, this guy walked up to me and said I was attractive and wanted to go on a date. No, it's generally the story of how they met, and it was so unexpected. And that's all a part of indirect. It feels natural, it feels organic. So now people try to put them against each other, but the reality is, you need both. All right. In order to be at a master level in the game, or at least at a solid level in the game, to where you can have your way and do what you want to do and move freely in the game. It's like being a basketball player and you got all the moves. You can dribble, you can shoot, you can dunk, you can pass, you know what I mean? Versus you all you can do is just pass. Now when they pass your ball at the 3-point line, you wide open, nobody, you can't do anything. So that's how it is for some of these guys. Some of these guys can go direct, but then they have no tact. When it's not the right time, when they're not in the right environment, they don't know what to do, because if they go at her, it's going to look stupid, right? So they're not as flexible. Then you got some guys that are always indirect, and then the girl can be right there giving them all the signals, and he's sitting here trying to figure out how to time it together. He's too much in his head, and that's where indirect goes bad, is when you're too much in your head. So the key is you got to have both. Now, how do you have both? I'm going to tell you very quickly, and then I'm going to shut this down. The way to go about it, from what I've seen with the men I've worked with, looking at my own journey, the journey for so many people I've been in the game with, and from the people I work with every day when it comes to their own dating situations, when they're trying to manifest someone in their life, it generally begins, number one, you direct is first, because the thing about indirect is a little bit more complicated, and indirect requires more abundance, because you got to be willing to be patient. So direct, you got to first get some action going. You can't just be trying to wait around and you don't even have nobody that's calling your phone, right? Or whatever. So you got to go ahead and just approach, get to know people. And the way that works, direct works based off the numbers game. You got to play the numbers first, build the consistency of communicating with people. You're comfortable communicating, you're building that mouthpiece, you're getting more confident. Then you could get into indirect, right? And then as you get comfortable in indirect, you do both. And that's what happens. You see a girl, you see she's choosing up, boom, you can go direct. But if you want to play it cool, you want to, be more seasoned with it. Because in my opinion, I think indirect is the more seasoned game. And that's the level you move up to, where all it takes is a conversation and it's a wrap. You want your conversation to be, and I'll do that in the next video, because conversation is the number one key. And this is the last thing I'll say. I don't want to give up too much game. I say this for the future videos, and of course, if you get the base program, it's out now at 5D Transformations. But I'm gonna tell you this right now: the number one seduction to women. People are saying, is it money? Is it status? Is it looks? You know what I mean? Is it all those things? No, I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's conversation. And don't get me wrong, all those other things matter. It's stupid to say, it's like saying the main thing that matters, what, shooting, dribbling. I would say shooting matters the most, because, if you could score, you might suck at defense, you might suck at everything, but at least you can score. Or somebody might say defense is most important, because even if you can't score, at least you can stop the other person, right? So we're not saying just because defense is the most important, all the other things aren't important. No, they're all important, but defense is just very important at all of them. That's what I'll say. Conversation is important at everything, because you can have the money, the status, and the looks. But if your conversation is horrible, you're going to look lame, because no matter what, in between the time of a girl being attracted to you, to her sleeping with you or making you her boyfriend or whatever, um, if you got bad conversation, it's going to mess it up. You're going to look lame. You're going to get exposed. So if you have good conversation, you might not look the best, you might not have the most ass and the most money, but anytime a girl is in your vicinity and you talk, she's gonna be intrigued. She's gonna think that you have one of these qualities, because he has to have something to be that confident. So that's my message to you all. You got to understand the power of conversation. I'm going to start talking more about conversation in these next videos. And of course, if you get the base attraction course, dating and relationship course, you're going to know what you need to know. But and of course, if you get a coaching session with me too. But all of that aside, I'm gonna drop some gems on here as always. But y'all need to keep running up the channel. Like, I need these subscribers to grow. Please like and subscribe, spread the word. This is a lot of game being dropped, and I know y'all want to keep it on the low, keep it between the G's, because I like having a small channel, because I don't think my stuff is for everybody. My stuff is for guys and ladies that's sharp. But we still gotta grow it so that we can build our community, right? So I can't do it alone. So make sure to spread the word. And I'm gonna keep dropping this game. I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. It's the one and only 5D dating and relationships. And I will see y'all in the next video.